Hi, I'm Arnold Crooms. Welcome to another edition of Black Butte Forge. Today's video, what I have is a part one of a series of demonstrations on how I do my grapevine and my grape leaves. And got a little sample here in my hand, but got a beautiful gate to start with. I got a fine commission, wanted the most nicest gate that I can make out of grapevine and grape leaves. And so here we go, putting my best foot forward. I'll take another video of the finished work of everything once the whole thing's assembled and done with the color and everything. One of the things that separates our shop is that what I do is I use a lot of color in what we do. So for example, the vine work is going to get brown like this, have this nice beautiful brown color. It's a translucent dye, and I put a clear coat on top of it. And then the leaves will get a green clear coat on top of the leaves as well. This is a stock leaf. This is a leaf that you could buy from, say, King Architecture or any of the other architectural ironwork suppliers. And this is basically stock. But what I'm going to show is how I do my own leaves and how I make the tendrils and how we do the vine work itself. Okay. So in the video, we're going to cover this. We're going to cover how to get the twisting. We're going to cover how to forge this out. Okay. Now, obviously, I use a power hammer for these things, and if you don't have a power hammer, I'm going to show you the trick that you need to know. If you don't have a power hammer, it's going to start off. I'm going to show you the hammers that I use for this as well. If you don't have a power hammer, it starts off with your number one heavy thumper that you're going to use to draw out tapers. And so it all starts off with drawing out that taper first. That's the first thing you're going to do. Once you draw out the taper, you can put that hammer aside. And what we've made is we've made a cross peen hammer that has the texture vertically on one side, horizontally on the other. And this is how you're going to drive the texture into the steel. So if you don't really have a power hammer, you are the power hammer, and you're going to muster all the power you have to put that texture in with this. I highly advise you swing mightily, okay? So the next hammers that you're going to use, as you'll see in the videos, I use my light hammer, my light Swedish hammer, mostly for flattening, straightening out. When you get to the very ends of the tapers, you want to true those up, so you'll usually true these up with these over the anvil. Next hammer that does probably most of the texturing is your standard welding cross peen hammer. I've rounded this off a little bit so it's not quite so sharp, and I've also rounded the corners a little bit so I don't get those little corner marks right at the edge of the hammer that you would get. So round these off, blunt that off, do whatever it takes to get a good wedge in there, because you're going to swing very fast and quite often with that. All right, so that does all the texture. And to certain things, this little persuasion, cupping the leaves or things of that nature, or putting the round in the end of the tendrils, a little rounding hammer works. And there you go with that. In the series of videos, you're going to get to see the leaves, how I put the texture in them. I showed you the stock. These are basically the leaves that we make here. They come in a few different sizes and whatnot, but as you can see, they're very, very detail orientated and very labor intensive. However, you know, when they want the best, this is the best. So there's that. And the leaves, you're going to get a chance to see how those are made. And then what I also have for you is how we do the tendrils. And this is an overlooked thing on a lot of projects when guys do vine work. And it's the little details really that matter. So the tendrils, there's a cool little machine that I made for it. I call it the Tendril Twirler 2.0. And it's a 2.0 because originally it started just bending it over, wrapping it around a piece of round bar, but we modified with that. So the trick with this is to wrap it as crazy and as wild as you possibly can come up with, and try not to do the same thing twice. This particular job is not going to have any grapes on it. mainly because the client decided that they don't want the grapes. They just like the vine and the leaves, and they want the brown and the green. And so that's what I've got. This was part one. There's going to be a series of parts after this. I don't know how many after I do the editing, but sooner or later you'll get to see how all these components come together. And then at the end of it, when it's all done, I'll do one final video when it's painted and all the leaves are done and all the colors there and the gate's a finished product. So thanks, I hope you enjoyed this and enjoy watching how the things get made in the future parts. All right, have a good one. Thanks for tuning in Black Beet Forge. Hit like, share it with all your buddies, and until next time, see you later.